Hi, welcome back to At the Table with Shirley. I'm Shirley Chancellor, pastor of Lighthouse Christian Church in Bismarck, Arkansas. And today's topic is the spirit of offense. You know, that spirit has run rampant lately, and I really had some experiences last week where I had to do a lot of praying and getting past that attack of that spirit. And it wasn't really anything, but I had to realize that and look past the person and really pray about it to overcome that. But it was oppressive and uh, depressive and all kinds of thoughts. And I kept praying all week, Lord, what do you want my message to be about Sunday? And just seeking him on that. And finally, it was like, duh, what have you been dealing with all week? The spirit of offense. So that's what our topic is today. And I want to share you a quick little PowerPoint if I can get it to work correctly. All right. As I said, our topic is the spirit of offense. And there are some truths about that we need to realize. The spirit of offense actually can cause you to hear things that people do not say. Or actually, it seems as if they're saying it, but it's the enemy putting those words into their mouth. And if you ask them about it later, many times they'll say, I didn't say that. And truly, they may not remember saying it because the thought did not come from them. It came from the spirit of offense. And we need to realize that and realize the dangers and the effects of it. The next point, if you let this settle on you, if you stay offended, you're essentially walking in unforgiveness. And when you walk in unforgiveness, it releases the tormentors against your body and opens up a door for the spirit of infirmity. You can literally get sick, which I experienced last week. It literally had me at the point of being lethargic. You know, I didn't want to do anything. I didn't feel well. I didn't even want to be around anyone. And it took some praying and seeking what was going on to really shake it off. The spirit of offense steals your time. The spirit of offense wants us to nurse that wound, even if it's an imaginary offense. And even if it isn't, if someone truly offends us, we have to be quick to forgive. We have to stop and think about it and behave in the way that the Lord would want us to behave. The spirit of offense wants us to spend our time thinking about what someone did to us and then telling others about it. Spreading gossip. You know, you begin to, if you're not careful, sinning in a lot of different ways. Thankfully, I managed to keep it to myself and just pray about it instead of adding to an offense. I hope I did anyway. I'm pretty sure I did. And the spirit of offense affects our personal economy. Sometimes, if we're on a job and someone says something to us or maybe over a period of time, someone is just not really nice to us, the spirit of offense can open the door to a lack attack. It may want you to just quit what you're doing to earn a living. That has actually happened, and we only end up hurting ourselves when that happens. You know, the stakes are too high to ignore the spirit of offense. It wants to ruin your relationships, your prosperity, and it wants to ruin your life. You know, the enemy comes to kill, steal, and destroy, and he will in any fashion that he can, using any venue he can, anyone he can, anything he can. So it's time for us to wage war on the spirit of offense. Some key biblical teachings on being offended: forgiveness and kindness. The Bible consistently teaches that forgiveness is vital. Christians are urged to forgive others as they've been forgiven by God, and to respond to offenses with kindness and patience rather than anger. In the next one, we have to overlook offenses. It is considered a mark of wisdom to overlook an offense instead of holding on to it or replaying it over and over and over again in our minds. One verse states, "A brother offended is more unyielding than a strong city, and quarreling is like the bars of a castle." I had to think about that one for a while. Back when cities were fortified and they were fighting, and even today, it's just really hard to break through those defenses that different cities or countries have. And a brother offended is even more unyielding than that. And quarreling is like the bars of a castle. And that's talking about the bars of their dungeons, their prisons. If you were put in there, you could beat against those bars, you could push against those bars. They're not going to budge. So it's comparing someone being offended to being that stubborn, that stronghold has that kind of grip on them. That's Proverbs 18:19. Reconciliation. If a fellow believer sins against you, the Bible instructs us to go to them privately and address the issue. The goal is to reconcile and win your brother back. We need to meet all of these things with love and patience and kindness. We need to pause, ponder, and pray before we act and react. Think about it. We've always learned to look past the person, because there's usually, more times than not, the enemy putting words in someone's mouth just to get to us. Beware of the spirit of offense. Some interpretations suggest that being easily offended can be spiritually harmful, leading to bitterness and hindering one's relationship with God and others. It's seen as a destructive mindset that separates people and goes against the love and peace God intends. That's where our side, that's where we begin to sin. When we no longer feel love for that person or that situation, when we behave in a manner that will not represent the kingdom of God. Remember, we're ambassadors to the kingdom of God. We should reflect the love of Christ in everything that we do, in every situation. Focus on your own heart. The Bible encourages introspection and self-control, reminded people that they have also offended others and should not take every word to heart. It's important to get rid of bitterness and harsh words. We're all guilty of sin at some time or another, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. We're not any of us innocent. So we do have room to show mercy and grace to others, because God has been so quick to show mercy and grace to us. And do not let the sun go down while you are still angry. That's from Ephesians 4:26 and 27, and it's a reminder to resolve anger quickly and not to allow it to fester into resentment. This has destroyed more marriages than anything else. Just a word spoken without forethought, or the enemy loves to break up and tear up families, and he's been very successful at it. We have to watch every word, every thought. And someone in a relationship, whether it be friendship, marriage, co-workers, business relationships, someone has to be the bigger person. Someone has to stop when something is said or something happens and see it through spiritual eyes. See it through love and grace and mercy. See it the way Jesus would see it, and react appropriately. React spirit-led, not flesh-led. So those are just a few things that I wanted to share. We had our message today on the spirit of offense, and of course it was much longer and more detailed, but it's so rampant right now. look how our government, even within our government, the spirit, the offense, they're just so offended by each other. The hate that's being spewed and the lack of love and the lack of agreement, that is the spirit of offense at work. And that's another one of the enemy's greatest weapons. So it's just food for thought. And I hope you'll keep this and go back over this PowerPoint, use those notes. You're welcome to. I found them somewhere, some of them I came up with on my own, but it's so true and it's biblical. There are many, many scriptures on the danger of being offended. So I hope you enjoyed this. And as always, pray for me and I'll pray for you. And I'll see you next time. Bye.